Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, Odell Beckham wants to be the league's highest paid player, but is he worth it? Plus, Skip says he thinks the Ravens might be better with Colin Kaepernick starting over Joe Flacco. And what are the chances Kyrie Irving is the man to save the Knicks? Skip, Shannon, let's debate.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Let's get it started with Odell Beckham Jr. The Giants star reported to training camp yesterday, and now the focus is on his contract. Odell is set to make under $2 million this season. Since he entered the league, he is tied for the most receiving touchdowns, and he went on uninterrupted and made it clear he wants a lot more money. Let's take a listen.
Those are some tough lines to walk. It's like the elephant in the room, and you don't want to talk about it. And I've gotten to the point in my life where there's no need to not talk about it. I believe that I will be, hopefully not just the highest paid receiver in the league, but the highest paid, period.
Shannon, do you like that Odell said this?
It doesn't bother me. I'm a firm believer. All they can do is tell you no. If you shoot for the stars and you land on the moon, Skip, I think you'll be pretty happy with that. Clearly, he's outperformed his current contract. And the problem that I have with the NFL, and I have many, and I think I've voiced those problems on this show a lot, but the problem that I have, Skip, is that when you overperform a contract, the first thing the owners and general manager will say is that you're under contract, you signed the contract. But if you underperform that very said contract, they'll release you and says, well, he didn't meet the expectation. So now, if I sign the contract and I overperform it, you can say, well, you signed it. If I underperform it, you don't mention anything about I signed the contract, so you want to get out from under it. Skip, I have no problem for this young man because he has outperformed his current contract, but he's in a very, very precarious situation. If you look at the guys that have gotten these new contracts, the Julio Jones signed 5 years, $71 million, for about $47 million guaranteed. Dez got about $45 million guaranteed. Demaryius Thomas got about 43.5. What he's looking at, he's not looking at those contracts. He wants that outlier contract like Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson signed a contract in 2012, Skip. 8 years, $132 million, $16.5 million per season. They call it an outlier because we had never seen anything like that before, and we haven't seen anything like it since. And what the Detroit Lions did is something that only reserved normally for quarterbacks, Skip. They tore the contract completely up and started anew. $53 million fully guaranteed. Odell has this year and the fifth-year option. So what are you going to do, Odell? They're not going to give you that outlier contract. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be the highest paid player. But since you have 2 years, this is what we're willing to do for you, Odell. They're probably going to come to him and say, Skip, say something like this, Skip. Odell, you have 2 years left on your contract, and you have outperformed the contract, and we want to reward you for your performance. This is where we are. He's going to be somewhere in that Julio Jones, maybe $45 million, Skip, because he has 2 years. He can't get money as if he was free because he's not free. So in order to get some security, he's going to have to give up something on the front end. And I believe they can get this done. I believe if he come in at about $47 million, $47 million, they can get this deal done. But if he's thinking Calvin Johnson contract, that's not going to happen.
Okay. I hear everything you just said about how he has outperformed his current deal.
Do you agree?
I have no issue with that.
Okay.
He has certainly done that, in part because of where he was drafted, which was not his fault, on down the line, enough that it made him underpaid for his first 3 years in the league. I get all that. But that is not what the young man just said on Uninterrupted, as we just heard. He said the elephant in the room is that one day he's going to be, let's just face it, the highest paid player in the National Football League. He didn't say, I want to be the highest paid receiver in the National Football League. And you know what I think about how valuable a receiver is versus how valuable a quarterback really is.
Right.
So don't give me that you're going to make more than $25 million quarterback will make a year, because he won't.
No,
but in his head, that came across like he truly believes in his heart of hearts.
No, he doesn't.
Let's just face it. One day I'm It's the elephant right there beside me in the room. I'm going to be the highest paid player in the National Football League. Isn't that what I just heard him say?
Yeah.
Okay. So my conclusion is that even though I was astounded when I heard Odell say that, I was not surprised because I've told you before, this young man, and I do like him. I can't help but like him, but I'm going to be real about him, harshly real about him. He is staggeringly delusional. He has lost all perspective about who he really is and how very little he has actually accomplished in the National Football League so far. So let me get this straight. He's already talking about that not wanting to be, that he will be the highest paid player one day in this league, when all he has to show for on his playoff resume right now is a grand total of one playoff game. Last year, a road wild card playoff game at Green Bay, before which he was the tour guide taking a group of his receivers to South Beach to prepare for a game at Lambeau Field. Am I right about that? Did that not happen?
It happened.
And during that game, let's just do the big picture first. Odell was targeted 11 times in that game, and he caught 4 balls for a grand total in that game of 28 yards. That was his lowest per catch in his career, and it happened in his first and only playoff game on the road at Lambeau Field, when I can make a case that he was the primary reason before the game that they lost that game. Not to mention that on the opening drive, Eli playoff hot, and they go boom, boom, boom down the field, and it's 3rd and 5 at the Green Bay 35. It's still 0-0. This is the Giants' first possession. And on 3rd and 5, Eli hits Odell with a perfect pass. Just hits him right in the hands for what is going to be a 10-yard gain. And what happened?
Dropped it.
The president of the yacht club, he dropped it. He dropped it. Cold dropped it in the cold in Lambeau, because he was down in South Beach getting ready for the cold at Lambeau Field. And they had to punt. And that was pretty much the end of the New York Football Giants, because they lost that game 38-13. So let's just look at his first 3 seasons so far. Again, he brought this up. I'm just reacting, okay? Talk about elephant in the room. Let's look at the elephant in Odell's room right now. Over his first 3 seasons in the National Football League, he has 83 fewer catches than Antonio Brown. That's a lot. 83 fewer. He has 751 fewer receiving yards than Julio Jones. That's a whole lot of yards. They've each played over these last 3 seasons. You know, Julio obviously in her prime, but 751 more receiving yards. And those two combined, Antonio and Julio, they're actually tied for first in catches for first downs over the last 3 years. Odell has 44 fewer catches for first downs than Julio and Antonio, tied for the top of that list. 44 fewer catches for first downs?
But Skip, you're not. That's not fair, because you're taking Julio and Antonio their last 3 years, and you're looking at a guy in his rookie contract.
All right, but this is Odell. This is what a guy a lot of people are calling the greatest receiver ever.
He's not.
So he can't even so far after 3 years. That's a pretty good body of work in the National Football League when you're this gifted.
Yeah.
You can't even make a case so far that you're just the best receiver in the National Football League, can you?
No, but Skip, if you look, let's take it this way. In his first 3 years, he's gone to the Pro Bowl 3 straight times.
I give you that.
He's been voted to the All-Pro team second on the second team
right.
All-Pro last year and the year before.
Okay.
Since he's come into the league, only 4 players have had more touchdowns in their first 3 seasons. Let's see if you heard of this guy. One of them is Randy Moss, who's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. Jerry Rice, you ever heard of that guy? The greatest receiver to ever live. Rob Gronkowski, I mentioned his numbers yesterday. And the Moon Man, a lot of people don't remember him. John Jefferson, I know you remember him, the great San Diego Charger and New Orleans Saints. So in the 98-year history of the NFL, only 4 men in their first 3 years have more touchdown catches. You told me now you value points. Because I'll tell you, they give up all these yards. You say the number 1 scoring defense or the number 1 scoring offense. You want catches or you want points?
I want playoff resume. I want playoff wins. I want playoff appearances. So in 3 years, the dynamic Odell, who's high on your first 3-year list, has played in one playoff game. He has lifted the New York Football Giants to one big wipeout road playoff game that now lives in infamy in Giants history. Wow, that's all you got? So you brought up that guy, who's that guy, Jerry Rice?
Yes.
In his career, he played in 29 playoff games
Yes.
and won 3 rings.
Yes.
The great Shannon Sharpe, who sits right across from me now, played in 18 playoff games and won 3 rings. Odell, 1 playoff game.
He's only 3 years,
A
Skip.
road wild card game that lives in infamy because he went to South
Well,
Beach
you gonna play in some
and
playoff-
prepped on a yacht.
He will play in playoff games this year.
Well,
because you know where I
we
got
need to
him
see that.
going.
Okay, but again, he's already talking about, this is my context, I'm going to be the highest paid player. If we're talking brand, does Odell have the biggest brand among all receivers in pro football? He might have one of the biggest brands of all in pro
Yes.
football, right?
Yes.
I give you that. He's got his own clothing line, and he plays in the Big Apple. Boom, boom. I give you that.
He got a $5 million shoe contract.
Okay,
for
all right,
Nike.
okay, I give you all that. But so far, Odell is better known for his hair than his playoff record, right? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So far, he's better known for being a thin-skinned, tantrum-throwing, emotional basket case than for his production as a wide receiver. Seriously, I know him for the Josh Norman game when he just completely went over the edge and lost it. I know it for taking it out on the kicking net, going crazy in the Josh Norman rematch. I know him for all that, but I know the pregame circus catch routine. I know all that. I'm very well aware of that. And I know that he made the greatest catch in NFL history in a losing effort against my Dallas Cowboys as a rookie, right? I know that. But that's what I know, because I certainly don't want to know that as a starter for the Giants, he's played in now 43 games and he's 21 and 22. 21 and 22?
So let me-
and you're going to be the highest paid player in pro football?
So hold on.
Really?
So I just want to make it.
Help me out.
Okay, I'm trying to help you out here. You believe that he's outperformed his current contract? Am I correct?
Well, sure he has.
Okay,
But he
so-
makes like what, 1.8?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the problem that you have with him is not being the highest paid receiver. You have a problem if he's going to be the highest paid player. Skip, he's just talking.
That's not just talking. He said it dead seriously.
Skip.
You know it and I know it. It's the elephant in the room.
Skip, you and I know he's not going to get quarterback money. No receiver has approached Calvin Johnson's numbers in 6 years, Skip. That's an outlier, which means we had never seen it before.
But he didn't say, I'm going to be the highest paid receiver. He said player.
Skip.
You know it and I know it. It's delusional.
Yeah, Skip.
It's scary delusional.
Skip, what does it hurt to ask? All they can do is tell you no. What if they says, okay, Odell, you know what? We want to keep you in this uniform. We're going to give you $20 million a year.
Yeah.
If you close mouth, don't get fed. So all he's doing is asking. You and I know everybody in the United States that watches football knows Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to get quarterback money.
Okay.
So he's just talking, Skip. Are you taking him literally? Do you actually
Yeah, I am.
believe?
I'm taking him literally. And this is what really, really offends me. And this is old
He plays
school.
for the Giants. That's what offends
No,
you.
it
And he
doesn't.
busts your Cowboys up.
You know what? I love it that he plays for the Giants, because this is big advantage Dallas Cowboys.
How?
Because he's going to be a thorn in Giants Nation's side before
Cowboys
this is
Nation,
over.
too.
He's setting himself up for this psyche-shattering frustration that's going to boil over again and again, because he's going to think in his head, I have my own clothing line. I should be the highest paid player, but Eli's not throwing me enough passes. And okay, I dropped a couple, but throw me some more. Throw me some more. No. And he goes crazy and goes and takes it out on the kicking net. That's what's going to happen
Can I ask you a
again and
question?
again and again.
What was Dez Bryant's playoff record in his first 3 years?
I don't care. We're not talking about Dez Bryant. I can't defend. I'm down on Dez Bryant. I've been harshly honest about Dez. He's not a leader of my Cowboys. He's just another cog to me. He's a very good receiver, but he's not a top one.
Skip, all the man can do is ask.
Okay, so what do I know so far about Odell? I know that he toured Europe with Drake. Wow, impressive.
It's the
And
offseason.
I know it's all over social media, because he lives on social media promoting himself and his brand.
Okay.
And I know that Odell was front and center at the NCAA basketball championship game
Yeah.
instead of being at Eli's passing camp, right? And I know that because I saw it on social media. I saw it on Instagram.
What you doing on social media?
I just know because everywhere I can't get away from it. Just like haunts me all night long.
Stay off social media.
It does.
Stay off.
It's in my face. But I know that Odell was working out with Johnny Manziel instead of being at Giants OTAs. I know that because I saw it on his Instagram. I did. This is the guy who wants to be the highest paid player in the league. He has no clue, lost all perspective. Again, if you're out there working at it, grinding on it, like Shannon Sharpe did when he was a player, I would say, okay, I get where you're going with this, but I don't get any of this because it's all about a brand play.
Oh.
He's trying to tell his fans, I deserve to be the highest paid player in all of football. And his fans are saying, go, Odell, go, until it's playoff time. And then buy Odell, buy.
But Skip, we know he's not going to get that money. Skip, I don't have a problem. OTAs, when it's mandatory. I'm not going to be hypocritical. I went to nothing. Shannon Sharpe did not attend anything that was not mandatory. Shannon Sharpe's going to be a leader, but he's going to be leading from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So when it's mandatory, I'm going to come see.
Were you touring Europe with Drake?
Skip,
No.
First of all, Skip, you know I don't like to travel. I don't like to leave my house. If you want to know where Shannon is, he's training or he's at the movie.
Okay, there we go.
But
Thank
Skip,
you.
Skip.
I'll pay for that. I'll give you what you're worth for that because you're going to be worth a whole lot to my football team.
But Skip, we're in a different time. Skip, I had to change my way of thinking. I thought like you did because I came up through the old rankings and you did things this way, but it's a new era now. This social media, it'll make you a superstar even if you're not one. And this guy, he's a bona fide superstar. He's an elite receiver. He should be compensated as such for the simple fact he's outperformed his current contract. He's not getting quarterback money. He's not going to be the highest paid player. That's not going to happen. But it does not hurt him to ask. All the Giants can say, Jerry Reese and John Maher, the co-owner, because the Tisch family owns 50% of it. All he can do is ask. Says, guys, this is what I want. They can say, okay, Odell, sure. Or they can say, no, let's come to something more reasonable, something in line with the top-rated contracts. $47 million, Julio Jones. Dez is $45 guaranteed. Demaryius Thomas is $43.5 guaranteed. So he's going to come in somewhere between that, Skip, because he has 2 years. He's not in an advantageous situation because he has 2 years. Now, he was at the end of that 4th year. Now he has a little more leverage. But, Skip, not only do they have this year and the 5th year option, they got 2 years of franchise tags. So what do you want to do, Odell? How you want to play this out? You want to take the bird in the hand with 40+ million? Or you want to try to hold out to those 5 in the bushes? Because when you get to those 5 in the bushes, they might be gone. So I'm going to take this bird that I got in his hand, and I'm going to be happy with that.
What do you think the Maras and the Tisches and the Jerry Reeses of the world thought when they watched him say that? I'm going to be the highest paid player.
They didn't think anything.
Yeah,
and
they
if I'm
rolled their eyes and said,
and if I'm Odell Beckham, what am I thinking when John Mara gave Josh Brown 2 years, $4 million, who had admitted he abused his wife? What was Odell thinking when he did that? Okay, you gonna pay him? You might not like my antics, and I might be somewhat of a distraction by kicking the net and stomping my feet and getting in scuffles on the field. But I've been a model citizen off of it. You mad because you won't go, you can't, hey, go on,
you know what?
You go tour with Brad Paisley. You do that. Or the Florida-Georgia line. Go on tour with them.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't even know who they are. Seriously, who is that?
They touring with Nelly right now. Florida-Georgia line.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah, won't you go on tour with them?
I don't know. I've never heard a single song. I'm sorry, Nelly. Forgive me.
That's a
Sorry.
shame.
Yeah.
I'm going on
See,
tour
you're
with
trying
you.
to stereotype me, and you swung and missed again. Here's my bottom line on Odell Beckham Jr. I will give you that he has rare talent. It's just rare. I'm not sure I've ever seen quite all this packaged together. He has not been a rare performer yet. And he certainly isn't earning any highest paid contract in these off seasons.
He's not going to be the highest paid player. He's going to fall in line with these top rated receivers as far as guaranteed money, and he should gladly accept it. Because if you want to run the risk, Skip, you know football is an inherently dangerous game. And the longer you go, the more likely there's something to happen. I'm going to take, if it's reasonable, if it's somewhere between 45 and, between $42 and $48 million guaranteed, I'm taking that.
Yeah, but sometimes ego gets in the way and you convince yourself that you are worth more than you've actually earned, and then it turns into resentment, which is the kind of the issue here.
Skip.
That was some wisdom from
You're
Joy.
worth
You
what
just heard
somebody
it.
will pay you.
I agree. I
you're
agree,
worth-
but,
I
he's,
don't-
but he's asking for it. He's kind of demanding.
I'm selling this phone for $3,000. They
Not that phone,
They
not
say
that
it's
broken
worth
phone.
20.
That phone is an embarrassment. Shannon.
Stop it, Joy Taylor.
How many
Embarrassing.
phones do you have?
This is a battery. Look at that.
No mercy. Hey guys, before we move on, I wanted to tell you that the Undisputed podcast is brought to you by Barbasol. The biggest thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream is also the only thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream. Introducing new Barbasol razors. The brand America trusts for a close, comfortable shave now has premium disposable razors. Barbasol's close shave technology on every razor means you get an advanced pivoting head and ultra-thin open flow blades. The Ultra 6 Plus razor also features a 7th blade specifically designed to refine and style tricky areas like under the nose, sideburns, and beard. Visit Barbasol.com and get a $2 savings coupon and see for yourself why Barbasol razors are the #1 new disposable razors out there. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol. No mercy. John Harbaugh said yesterday the Ravens have discussed adding Colin Kaepernick after Joe Flacco hurt himself lifting weights. Flacco is expected to miss at least a week of camp. This morning, the Ravens announced they've signed quarterback David Olson, who played in an indoor football league. Shannon, what does this tell you?
It tells me that they don't believe Joe Flacco's injury is as serious as the high end of what people have thought. They said 3 to 6 weeks. I think it's more, they think it's in line with more the 1 to 2 weeks. And knowing Ozzie Newsome the way I do, he wouldn't do Cap like this. He wouldn't bring Cap in just to use him as an arm. It was reported that they had to use some of the assistant coaches to just to complete drills yesterday.
Yep.
So I do not believe, and I like to think that I know Ozzie fairly well, that he wouldn't do this to Cap. Because here's the thing, Skip. If you bring Cap in and Joe comes back, are you going to keep Cap as a third quarterback? Because they have Mallet and they got $2 plus million tied up in him. Are you willing to do that to Cap? Cap, either he's a starter or a backup. He's not a third quarterback. And so that's what it tells me. It tells me that Joe Flacco's injury is not as serious as a lot of people think it is, and Ozzie would not bring him in just to be an arm body. But it's going to take someone like the Ravens, a general manager, Ozzie Newsome, a head coach in John Harbaugh, and a Steve Bisciotti, who's great in the community, general manager and head coach that's on firm footing, to bring Colin Kaepernick in. And that's what I thought early on, that it would be the Kansas City Chiefs, because Andy's on strong footing. Now, Clark Hunt said, though, we'd have no problem bringing him in. It's easy to say when you have Alex Smith and you drafted a quarterback in the first round, because you're never going to have to be put to the test to find out. But I believe this is why Colin didn't sign with the Ravens, is because Joe Flacco's injury is not as serious as maybe some think, and Ozzie doesn't want to bring him in just to be a camp arm and to release him in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. This is another bad sign for Colin Kaepernick. And in the end, my takeaway is even the Ravens done him wrong. They put him in an awkward position again, because they talked about how much, John Harbaugh talked about how much he loves Colin Kaepernick, how many conversations he had with Colin Kaepernick. They've talked about politics and they've talked about religion and all these deep things, and that he really loves him as a young man and admires him as a quarterback performer, what he's done for, obviously, John's brother Jim. And yet, there were some other quotes that I saw yesterday from John Harbaugh that are damaging to Colin. And they are, it depends in the end, what's his passion, what's his priority, what's he want to do, and what kind of shape is he in? Well, this is echoing those same sentiments we've heard from other teams, like, does he really want to do this or not? Is he really in shape or not? Is he really trying to get ready to be an NFL quarterback, or is he doing something else?
Right.
I don't love this. It hurts his reputation again. And yet, you know, you bring in David Olson, as you point out. And just for the record, David Olson hasn't even been an arena league quarterback. He's been a minor league indoor quarterback in the minor, the minor league to the arena league, just some indoor league for the Wichita Force and the Kansas City Phantom. Okay? And in between, he had a job as a sales engineer for Concepts Packaging in Greenville, South Carolina. So it's come to this. He's going to be brought in. Again, you can just argue to be a camp sort of arm. But why did Colin's name even have to come up here? Did it do him good or harm? Because to me, it does him harm again. And yet, when I step back from this situation, you know how I feel about Joe Flacco, as I call him. His playoff record is
impeccable.
It's just impeccable. It's inarguable. It's not debatable. He's been sensational in the postseason. Regular season, not so much.
Yep.
So after he beat, barely, Colin Kaepernick in that Super Bowl, they made him the highest paid player. We just talked about Odell. Joe Flacco became the highest paid player in the National Football League. And then they extended him again in 2016 and gave him a bonus that, again, was a record bonus. For Joe Flacco? So since the Super Bowl, the Ravens' record is, in the regular season, 31-33. Is that the highest paid quarterback in pro football? And in that time since he won that Super Bowl, Joe Flacco is 19th in completion percentage, only 17th in touchdown passes, and he's thrown the third most interceptions since he won a Super Bowl to Eli and Phillip Rivers, who are 1 and 2.
But that's who but Skip,
Okay.
know that's who he is in the regular season.
Okay, that's who he is. But I can make a case. When I look at Colin Kaepernick's regular season records, he's better than Joe Flacco. Seriously. I'm not just saying that for a fact. I really, if you gave me a choice today, again, I can't argue with the postseason, but Cap's been pretty great in the postseason too, right? I mean, we don't have the body of work. But if I just look at regular season, Cap's been a little better. And his touchdowns, interceptions in the regular season, Colin Kaepernick, 72 touchdowns to only 30 interceptions that's his whole body of work in the regular season.
Right.
Flacco, regular season, 182 touchdowns, pretty good, but 117 interceptions is pretty bad. Well, okay, so I can make a case, you like the Ravens this year. I think they would be a little better. I would give them a little better chance to go farther with Colin Kaepernick as their quarterback than Joe Flacco. That's just me.
Skip, but if you look at Joe, he's never going to have the highest completion percentage because he throws the ball down the field. He's an over-the-top thrower of the football. He's never going to wow you with his numbers. He's not going to throw for 35 touchdowns and single-digit interceptions. That's not who he is. He's not going to lead in QBR or passer rating or whatever stat you want to judge a quarterback by other than wins and losses come playoff time. And that's what he is. He is a big game hunter when it comes to the playoffs.
Okay.
But if you look at his regular season resume, and that's what happens, Skip, they roll the dice. He hit 7. You went, Skip, I don't care what the player is. You win the Super Bowl and you're in a contract year, you're going to get paid either from the team that you're on or somebody's going to pay you once you leave via free agency. But I still believe, if I thought for a second, and I'm going to give the Ravens the benefit of the doubt, and I don't really like all the comments that he said. It's hard to say. When people say in shape, you don't get in football shape by running and doing stuff on your own. You got to play football. Take it from a guy, and I pride myself on being in very good shape. But it still took me 3 or 4 days to get acclimated to having a helmet on, because I can assure you, in the offseason, nobody's running sprints with a helmet. Nobody's running sprints with shoulder pads. And nobody's doing all this stuff in cleats. So it takes your body time to get used to that. But if you brought Cap in and gave him an opportunity, how do you know what his passion is? You're standing over the fence. I don't know. You don't know what a dog will bite if you just stand there and look at him. Maybe you got to go in the yard. Maybe you got to bring Cap in and see what he has. Work him out to see if he's and talk. I don't know how much I don't know if they brought Cap in. Like I said, I hadn't touched bases with him in a couple of weeks. So I don't know if they sat down with him face to face. But
well, it sounds like they've had deep conversations.
But see, Skip,
John did.
You look, talking on the phone with someone and talking to someone in person is something entirely different, because it's kind of like emails. What's the tone? You know, what's his body language? What's he looking at? Now, I can read something, but I don't know. But now you tell me, and I'm looking at you. Now I get a better sense of what you're actually saying.
Yep.
I just believe that the Ravens Ozzie wouldn't do this to Cap just to bring him in to be an arm for 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay, I
He's
got
not
it.
a third quarter.
Okay, but seriously, is Colin Kaepernick better than Ryan Mallett? I think so.
I think so, too.
Is Ryan Mallett more like Joe Flacco? Yeah, I
Yes.
get that.
Yes.
Sure.
But here's the thing, and this is also a reason, Skip. Remember, Tyrod Taylor was on the Baltimore Ravens. They wanted to keep him.
They did.
And they made a serious offer. But Buffalo promised him the opportunity to compete for the starting job.
Because every time Tyrod got in the game, he lit it up.
Right. So, and ask yourself this. Now, you seen Tyrod in Buffalo. You saw Cap in San Francisco. Are you telling me that Tyrod Taylor is a better quarterback than Cap? Now, we've seen Cap go. It's not, and people are like, well, look what Cap had. It's not like Tyrod Taylor has trash. He has Sammy Watkins. He has LaShawn McCoy. He has some very good talent around him on the offensive side of football. I just think if someone were to really seriously give Cap an opportunity, and if he can't play, he can't play. But you at least bring him in and give him that opportunity to show you he can or he can't. To sit here and for us to speculate, well, he can't play. All we know is what he did.
Okay.
His body of work is, Skip.
I'm
That's what we
just getting tired of lip service. I'm getting tired of the Clark Hunts, and I like Clark Hunt. I knew him from my days in Dallas. But again, it's just lip service. He got to ask on a radio show.
Yeah.
Sure, I would have no hesitation. Like you said, it's pretty easy to say when you're stacked in your whole quarterback roster. You're not going to bring in Colin Kaepernick. So you're paying lip service. I'm afraid that Pete Carroll just paid some lip service because his whole locker room sounded like most of them wanted Colin Kaepernick, and all of a sudden, he didn't want him.
And this team, his players have been the most outspoken on Cap's behalf.
Yeah.
Said the guy should be playing. He's good enough to be a quarterback in this league. And for whatever reasons, and some have said, hey, look, have they called each other and said, like, don't you sign Cap, don't you sign Cap? But it was just like when the black quarterback situation, Skip.
I agree.
Nobody called and said, don't take a
No.
black quarterback.
No.
But it was like, I ain't taking him, I ain't taking him, I
Okay,
ain't taking him.
so now more damage is done to Cap's reputation because Pete Carroll said no, and then for whatever reason, again, the big picture takeaway by most people is going to be John Harbaugh, Jim's brother, and Ozzie.
Yeah.
They couldn't find a place for him.
I believe if
I got it.
if
I
Flacco
know.
was-
The reality is, I get that. But still, they sounded so optimistic
Yes.
about how he would fit in, how well he could do. And then all of a sudden, he's out.
I still believe in him. I still believe the Ravens going to.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
How?
And they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, you still believe in the Ravens? Now, is
I know
this-
you're back on.
They signed Cap, I'm going to the Super Bowl.
I don't understand, and maybe I'm missing something, so maybe someone can explain it to me. What is this constant mantra of we don't know what
We
his
don't know what
priority
passion is.
or passion is?
Yeah.
Did he skip a game last year? Did he kneel during an action, like during action? Was he late to practice or to training camp
none
or
of that.
to a game?
I love how now all
I really, truly do not understand where that is coming from.
They're starting to view him as a crusader, as beyond being just the quarterback.
Okay, but
Yeah,
plenty
right.
of
I got it,
athletes
got
and
it.
players do
I'm
stuff
just
off
telling
the
you
field.
what-
It doesn't
yeah,
make
no,
any sense to
no.
me.
There are 32 teams. There are 53 men per team. How many guys' passion is football?
I mean, it's just.
That makes it seem like everybody's devoted like Tom Brady or like a Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady is dedicated, but Tom Brady also does things for his community. I'm sure he's involved in charities.
But there are not 53 Tom Bradys, is my point. They're trying to make it seem like everybody on their roster is as dedicated as a Peyton Manning or
agree.
Drew Brees.
I just want to know
and
where the
that's
outrage
not.
is for Des Bryant being a few hours late. Is he dedicated to football? Nobody's questioning whether he's dedicated to football. He was late, and that's not a jab at Des Bryant. I'm just saying.
It's just the facts.
Yes, it's a fact.
Or
It
if
doesn't
I
make
can
any
take it
sense to me.
to the severest degree here, if you're dedicated to going to church, does that mean you can't play in the NFL?
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
the same sort of.
So if you
Exactly.
pray before a game, like I don't understand it. It's lip service.
When you don't want, and the thing is, Skip, if you don't want somebody, guess what you can do? You can reach up here. Oh, let me get that excuse. Nobody used that one yet. Let me get that one.
Excuse
That's
machine
if you
is
don't
on
want
full
it.
throttle right now.
No mercy.
Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon to tell you about a great offer for our listeners from Saks Underwear Company.
Hey guys, you may think all underwear is created equal. Well then, you haven't tried Saks underwear. Stop putting up with an uncomfortable pair you'll end up throwing out in a few months. Go with the quality and comfort offered by Saks. Whether you're traveling or working out or going head-to-head with an NFL Hall of Famer on TV every morning, Saks underwear has what you need to stay cool and comfortable. Take it from a former Super Bowl champ.
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
Outside Magazine just had an article about how Saks has revolutionized underwear the same way Gore-Tex revolutionized jackets. And it's true. Saks has taken something we all need and made it better. Quality, support, and comfort. Everything you need. We want you to try Saks underwear with our special limited time deal. Go to our URL, saksunderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase. Pick up a few pairs. That's Saks with 2 X's, SAXX. Underwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks, guys. That's saksunderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase. That's Saks with 2 X's. One more time, that's saksunderwear.com/undisputed. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
Bleacher Report's Mike Freeman quoted an anonymous NFC scout that said Dak Prescott will win the MVP award this season. Scout said about Dak, quote, "I can see him getting literally twice as good as he was last season. He finished 6th in MVP voting as a rookie." We're joined once again by Rob Parker.
I want to say something really quickly.
Go ahead.
Congratulations to you and Ernestine.
Oh, thank you.
1 year
Yes.
wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Skip.
You are. Let me tell you something. Skip,
Why you invite me, Skip?
Seriously, Skip.
Did you think we wouldn't make it a year?
No, it's great.
I don't know how she done it. She'd have been putting up with it for about 16 years.
But you know what? I've gotten to know both of them over the last few years, and just really
you.
nice people. You know I love Ernestine.
Thank you.
Too,
So do I.
I just wanted to.
Really nice person.
That's
Just-
very nice.
Ernestine.
But just,
Congratulations, Ernestine.
yeah, just check with me tomorrow and see if we're still together.
Are you being nice? You're buttering Skip up before you say what I think you're going to say? Can you see Dak winning MVP?
I got a double. No way, no how. It couldn't be one single. It's a double.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and you know what? I get the first year was unbelievable, was out of nowhere. Tony Romo was supposed to be the guy. I get all of it. They won 11 in a row. But you ready for this, Shannon?
Go ahead.
We had Tom Brady as the LOAT, the luckiest of all time. We had LeBron as the FOFOT, the final failure of all time.
Very catchy.
And now, right, Dak Prescott is the MOAT, the most overrated of all time. He's the MOAT. Enough already. Stop it. How in the world could he even be considered in that and for MVP when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan? Come on
Brees.
now. I know he had a great year, but there's no way he's going to be in contention for the MVP because this is the second year, Shannon. They're going to make the adjustments on him, and you know what's going to happen. He's going to struggle.
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 Skip. You want to go?
I must admit that I unwittingly gave Rob, I gave him the moat yesterday
him the
because
moat.
we were already starting to argue about this, and I said, so what is he, the most overrated of all? And I thought, wait a minute, he's the moat, right? So now we got moat T-shirts coming,
That's
right?
right.
You want
Go
to
ahead.
go?
No, go ahead.
Skip. You know what? My eyes ain't what they used to be. But I did drink some carrot juice this morning when I knew we was going to talk about this. And I can see real clear now, Skip. I'm looking.
Yep.
Looking in your little beady eyes. No, he's not winning the MVP. Only 4 times in NFL history has a player won that award in their second year. Now, Jim Brown was special. He won it his first 2 years. He was Rookie of the Year and MVP. Earl Campbell did it. But then we get the quarterbacks that's done it. Dan Marino won it in his second year.
They went to the Super Bowl that year.
48 touchdowns, 5,084 yards. They were 14-2. Kurt Warner also did it. 4,300 yards, 41 touchdowns. So just explain to me, how is Dak Prescott going to get 40-plus touchdowns, and 4,500 plus yards and win at least 13 games again, Skip, you need to stop playing because what you've already told me.
I haven't even started playing.
yeah.
I haven't
You
even
already
spoken
know,
yet.
You know where you are.
No, hold on, Skip. You just told me the Patriots are going to go undefeated.
I did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
I did not.
Let me finish. I'm talking to Rob there. Rob, he said the Patriots are going undefeated. Joy, you heard it.
No, he didn't.
Now, how, if the Patriots go undefeated, they're not going to give that award to Tom Brady? Aaron Rodgers is always going to be in contention because you know he's never going to, ever going to throw double-digit interceptions again in his life.
Wait, the guy who started 4-6 last year?
And still didn't throw double-digit interceptions. 40-7. Going to be 42 and probably 6 this year. So ain't no way he's winning the MVP. You know it, and I know it.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
stealing
know it.
Skip's lines?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, unpack that.
Like that. I don't know it because right now, if you made me pick, I would say Tom Brady will be the MVP this next regular
At
season.
40 years old?
At 40 years old. But is it preposterous that Dak could win MVP? No, it's not
Ludicrous.
preposterous. It's not ludicrous.
Not the rapper.
It's not ASA, as I used to say, ASA 9, ASA 10,
Yeah,
or ASA 11.
Yes.
It's not even ASA 9. It might be like ASA 1. That might be what it is.
No,
right?
Skip.
Because I would make Dak right now my second choice for MVP.
Second.
Yeah. Because he finished 6th in MVP last year. 6th as a raw rookie 4th-round pick out of Mississippi State, thrown into the Dallas Cowboy fire in game number 1.
Skip, they won
then with
11
Tony
in a
Romo
row. They
looking
won
over
11
his
in a
shoulder
row.
starting game number 6. He wins 11 straight games, and all he did was have the single greatest rookie quarterback performance in the history of the National Football League. Wow, he led QBR. He led all quarterbacks in QBR all the way to the last Sunday at Philly when they mailed in a game they didn't even need to win. And that's why he fell barely to 3rd just in QBR. So you don't think he could come back at a little higher level this year now that he's starting to figure it out? Again, I thought he should have been a very close 3rd in MVP last year because it went Matt Ryan, it went Tom Brady. Then how is Zeke 3rd on that list? Listen, Dak Prescott is way more valuable than Ezekiel Elliott, and you're about to find out what's going to happen a couple of games this year without Ezekiel Elliott. That's why I fear for it. I'm sure it's coming, and I'm going to accept the fact that am I going to give Dak a chance to beat the New York Football Giants at Jerry World in the opener by himself? Yeah, I would. I give him a real good chance. And if he does, would that not be a leg up on MVP?
And if he doesn't?
What if he, well, I'm saying, what if he does? What if he goes to Denver in week 2 and somehow beats those miraculous Broncos? Who's the quarterback now? I don't know who it is. Is it Trevor?
Von Miller
or is it,
with 2.5 sacks.
Yeah. So what if Dak goes up to Mile High and wins that game? Would that not be another leg up on MVP? What did you not like about what happened last year? And again, Aaron Rodgers. How can Aaron Rodgers be ahead of him in the MVP race last year?
47.
4-6.
How did
He
he
starts
end up?
off. He loses 6 of his first 10 games, and you're telling me he's the
Can I
fifth
bring up
MVP?
one guy? I want to bring this up.
Yes.
When Colin Kaepernick broke into the NFL, you know, they didn't have any tape on him. It was unbelievable. He was running wild. Am I right?
Yep.
Ron Jaworski even went on and said that he could be the greatest quarterback ever. And boy, did that not come crashing down once they figured him out. And the same thing with Dak. I'm not saying he's going to be a bum, Skip, but he will not duplicate what he just did.
Rob.
Now that they have tape on him,
Trust
and
me,
they will be able to change
From a
him.
long-suffering Dallas Cowboy fan, he changed the entire culture. The locker room went from what could go wrong, will go wrong, to we're going to do this because that guy can do it.
Skip.
Have you ever seen more poise from a rookie quarterback? Have you ever seen more positive, confident body language from a rookie quarterback? Have you ever seen more clutch playmaking from a rookie quarterback? He brought them back at Pittsburgh. He brought them back against Philly. He brought them back against Aaron Rodgers. He threw for 300 yards and got it all to 31-all against Aaron Rodgers.
And then what?
And you're saying he can't be in the MVP race? Baloney. He'll be right in the middle of it.
First of all, that was a Dallas scout that told Mike Freeman that. That's first and foremost.
That's
and Cap,
wrong. How do you know it's not?
Whoa,
Well, it's just not.
Hold on. And Cap Cap did go back to the NFC title. He had a title game, and he had an opportunity. He was a throw away from going back to the Super Bowl. I still believe he can play. Skip, second of all.
I'm not saying he can't play at all.
Second of all, Zach did not change the culture because guess what? Guys are still getting suspended. Guys are still getting arrested in Dallas. So Dak didn't change anything.
Who does Vegas still have as
I
the
don't care
second
about
favorite
Vegas.
to win the Super Bowl?
What
The
did-
favorite to win the NFC is in Vegas still to this moment, Dallas.
And what did Shannon say? Dak didn't change anything. Second of all, you think they're going to win another 11 games in a row again?
They might. They
Skip,
well
you know
might.
that's not
okay,
gonna happen.
So,
There's
so
no
let me
chance of
let me. No, you can't explain this away. The best offensive line in pro football with an MMQB rating of they had 3 in the top 25 players
That's
ranked
right.
overall, right?
Yep, 6 in the
That
top 80.
same line with those same 3 dynamic players. The year before, wait, they threw in Brandon Whedon and Matt Castle, and then Tony Romo came back. They went 1-11 with the first 2 quarterbacks, and Romo, with that same offensive line, threw 3 interceptions and 2 pick sixes against Carolina on Thanksgiving. Well, how did Dak go 23-4, 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and win 11 in a row with the same offensive line? Don't tell me it's all about the line. It's all about the quarterback.
But you also
play.
added the running back there that opened up stuff for him. Why
They had
are
a
you discounting?
They had a 1,000-yard rusher in Darren McFadden the year before. He had 1,200 yards. So Zeke had 1,600. I get you. He's
Listen, you
really
don't think
good.
Well, hold on, Skip. But you also said that Tony Romo had one of the best statistical seasons in 2014 with that same offensive line, top 3 player, and an 1,800-yard rusher. So I'm not talking. We know Whedon and Sanchez are scrap heap
Not
quarterbacks.
Sanchez. Matt Castle.
Well,
Sanchez didn't do it.
All of
Fan Castle. Blow him down easy. Skip, you and I both know what's going to happen. I'm trying to prepare because when you hurt, I hurt. I'm an extension of you. And when the Cowboys lose, I know how it makes you feel.
The NFL players voted their top 100 players. Guess who was 14th on that list? Dak Prescott. Wow. That
Well,
means
I rest my case. He's the most.
No mercy. Here's the latest on the Kyrie Irving drama. The Knicks were one of the teams Kyrie reportedly had on his wish list. If he went there, Kyrie would undoubtedly be the man in New York. ESPN's Tom Haberstroh wrote a column on Kyrie's struggles when he hasn't had LeBron at his side. Haberstroh concluded that Kyrie is not the next Kobe or Russell Westbrook and is more comparable to a guy like Damian Lillard. We're joined by former NBA champ Eddie House. Welcome back, Eddie.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Eddie, how would Kyrie do as the number 1 on a team?
He would do fine. He's been the number 1 on the team before, and just the way he can score the basketball, the rules that are in place now are conducive for him to have big numbers. You can't really touch, no hand checks. His handle's amazing. He finishes with either hand. He's not going to have a problem being the man, but what teams are he going to be? He doesn't have a lot of options to be the man on the team, the number 1 option. Here's a list of them, and they're really not going anywhere fast. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Indiana, Chicago, Miami, Detroit, New York, Orlando, and Brooklyn. He could be the number 1 on that team. The other teams in the East, he can. In the West, Clippers, Jazz, Nuggets, Pelicans, Mavericks, Kings, and I don't know about the Suns because Devin Booker could be your number 1
He
option.
went to the Pelicans.
You know,
Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins, so he might be third.
He's not. Excuse me, I didn't want to put the Pelicans there, but that's where I see that he doesn't have too many options to be the
I'll
number
bet you
1.
every team you just read has called Cleveland with an offer.
Yeah,
I'll bet you.
Yeah, every team that I read, those teams, he can be the number 1 option, but they're not going to have a good chance. I like him going to New York, and I understand why he wants to go there. He could really blow his brand up there. He could get his endorsement deals. That's a place that you want to land when you want to start thinking about yourself and your business outside of basketball. So he could set himself up nice there as far as they can make the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs in a while, and he'll be a big superstar, and the Knicks fans will love him for that.
That's the thing. Going out on his own, he can score the basketball. He's Isaiah Thomas, 4 inches taller. He'll average about 30, average about 4 or 5 assists a game, but they're not going to go anywhere, Skip. His shots will go up from 17, 18 to somewhere around 22, 24. So he'll be taking as many shots as Russell Westbrook. He'll average probably as many points as Russell Westbrook. But Skip, they're not winning. The Knicks are not winning. Yeah, you get in the playoffs because there are only like 4 teams in the playoffs to begin with. I think us 5 and the cameraman on the jib, we get the playoffs. We'll be at least the 9 seed, and we're going to challenge the Knicks for the 8th seed. That's how weak the East is currently.
I got Eddie. He's going to be on my team.
Yeah, me, you,
then I'm
Eddie,
good.
me, you, Eddie, and Joy.
I'm the number 1 on that team, obviously.
Yeah.
As long as you don't wear that.
If she the PG, just find me in the corner.
Well, you know,
Anywhere.
She be coming here in that boho sheet, big the apparel she be wearing. But
My
Skip,
parachute pants.
yeah, Skip. But you know this. Let's be real, Skip. He's not going any of the teams. He's not going to be the guy in Minnesota. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the guy.
Right.
Okay. OKC got their team. The Rockets have their team. Golden State has their team. Golden State's turned down a deal for PG for Klay Thompson. So they set. They're good. And they signed JaVale McGee. So they got 15 players under guaranteed contract. They're set. Skip, where can he go and be the man? Maybe San Antonio. I still think Kawhi. Kawhi likes being thought of as the best player in the league. He like, how can you be the best player in the league if you number 2?
He would share the ball and share the stage.
So now he's
You
not.
know it,
And
I
guess
know
what?
it.
And guess what? Now you say you got bye-bye the second best or third best, fourth best player in the league. You can't be that as the second option on the team.
He's already the best two-way player in basketball.
Well, I don't know about no two-way.
Better than that
This
guy
ain't no
who won on
walkie-talkie.
December
This ain't
30th.
Nextel. We don't do no two-way walkie-talkie. You got a phone and a walkie-talkie. The best player in the NBA happens to reside in, what's their location, Skip? What's the area code?
I don't know.
330. You know the area code, Skip.
I don't know. It used to be.
Fred.
You know? Kyrie Irving falls into that exclusive little club of guys I don't bet against, because who became the closer for the great LeBron James, the best player on the planet? The closer for LeBron? LeBron needed a closer? He needed this guy, because this guy is as mentally tough and as clutch as you will find in this league. The only limitation this man has is that he's a little man. He's 6 feet 2 inches tall. They list him at 6'3", and I'm not buying it. I think he's 6'2". But have you ever seen a better handle?
Nope.
Have you ever seen a better finisher at the rim? Nope.
Rod Strickland was a great finisher, too.
I got it, but this
not
guy's a
like
trick
this.
shot artist.
Yeah, not like this.
Especially with either hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like we were talking about, you're too young to know the Globetrotters, but the old Metal Lark Lemon Globetrotters. See, Kyrie's like a real-life Globetrotter, and he's not playing against the Generals. He's playing against real NBA teams, and they can't stop him. And there are times in this past NBA Finals, I would just sit back watching this, and I'd say, that's unbelievable what he just did, because they're all trying to stop him, and they can't stop him.
Well, you saw him in Boston, Skip. What was that, game 4, where he went on that stretch from the third quarter to like the start of the fourth, and like and everybody just give him the ball. They take the ball out, give it to him, and then everybody just went and stood in the corner, and he got whatever he wanted.
So nobody is giving him enough respect for what he's saying with his little wish list, which includes the New York Knicks, and then the report yesterday that he badly wants to be a Knick. Nobody's given enough credit for, he doesn't want to build his brand in New York. I know it would build on its own just because he'd be in the Big Apple and it's his home area. We grew up in New Jersey. But he doesn't care. He just wants to be the man on any team. Give him a team that needs a man, he'll go be the man on that team. That's gutsy, man, because he's saying, I'll go take that team to an NBA Finals.
Well, he's foolish to think that he's going to take a team to the NBA Finals by itself. He's going to need help. Everybody needs help. And the Knicks, what do they have? Him and Porzingis,
but
Hardaway Jr.
We can't even figure out how they could trade for him, because I'm afraid Dan Gilbert just wouldn't take anything back except Porzingis.
Exactly.
So, Melo and what? I don't know.
But Skip, what did he see? He saw the love, the praise, although Russell has no chance of winning. We loved Russell. Those points, those rebounds. He's not going to get those rebounds. He's not a hustle guy. He's not the effort guy that Russell is. So he's not going to get the assists. He's not going to get the rebounds. But he's going to average with 24, 25 shots.
And the fans in New York going to love him. If they go to the playoffs, the fans in New York are going to go crazy. Oh, man, they're going to go crazy.
What have I told you from the start about Russell Westbrook? And I loved what he did last year, but in the end, I believed at least last year, he cared a little more about starring than winning.
Yeah.
That it was more about averaging the triple-double, winning the MVP, than winning a playoff
He really didn't have no help in that playoff series. You know that.
I got it. And I'm not saying he doesn't want to win.
Nowhere to be found.
Hey, listen, Kyrie Irving knows how. This is a big picture point. he knows how to win more than Russell knows how to win. That's just he's built
he's a
to
champion.
win.
He learned that from
Okay.
where, Skip?
Well, he's a champion.
Where did he learn
help.
it
He
from?
should know how to win a little bit more.
Who did he learn it from, Skip?
Mike Krzyzewski.
Stop it, Skip.
Well, his
dude
all the
played
12 games.
Well, he was in the program, right?
Skip.
Yeah.
Who
Kyrie's
brought
gonna
him
be
there?
fine, man. Wherever he goes, he's gonna be fine.
Who brought him up?
Okay, who helped the King win a championship?
He did.
He did.
Yeah, who hit the
did.
shot that closed the
Who
deal?
helped Jordan win a championship? Kerr,
Pippen.
Paxson,
And you remember, Skip, after they
Cool
went
Coat.
72 and 10, Scottie Pippen demanded a trade, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Did they trade him? They said, we're not breaking this thing up.
Michael Jordan made Scottie Pippen. Trust me,
I
he
don't
just
know
made
who
him.
I don't know who made
Yeah,
what.
oh yeah. you
What?
I don't know
did.
who
He made
what.
him.
Pippen was
He
raw,
made
man.
it.
Point forward, first one.
I get it, and they were long with Ron Harper on defense. They
That
just
was-
suffocated
yeah.
people across the line. They just line up three.
Kyrie,
wide.
Rodman on the back end.
Let's go ahead and look. I get it because we've seen this in relationships and how, man, they look so happy. I can't believe. Because I mean, you look at it from the outside, Skip, you would thought LeBron heaping praise. Kyrie said, "Oh, I'd be foolish to leave this," and you just think it's just like that couple. They look so happy. They get in the divorce. Yeah.
Okay, but Kyrie was smart enough and mentally tough enough to know I gotta sacrifice if we're going to win a championship here, and I gotta say and do all the right things publicly. So I'm going to heap praise on my man LeBron James when in fact he was pretty miserable trying to sacrifice for LeBron James. He did. They won. They won a championship.
I don't know. I don't know how
And went
you
to
be
3
miserable
straight
winning.
finals. I don't know it. I don't know. Hey, Pat Riley said it. It's winning and misery. Those are the two things. Either you're winning or you're miserable. And
I mean,
that's
Skip,
the
I
truth.
wouldn't- you
That's the
didn't-
truth.
So you think Kyrie's going to be miserable wherever he goes?
I mean, I don't think that he cares about winning that much. So as much as you saying, oh, he loves winning and this is that he's a winner, if that's what it's about, then he would stay in Cleveland and try to ride this wave and see what they could do with what they got. But since he wants
He
to
believes
venture out
in
on his own,
himself more
Well,
than
no, I
you
bel-
believe in him.
I mean, well, he
sorry.
should.
It's okay.
Well, he should. You know what
Okay,
I mean? You
but
should believe in
he
yourself more than
believes
somebody else does.
He knows how to win enough that he can go take anything to a finals, at least to a final,
Skip, everybody-
especially if he's in the East.
Don't get me wrong, and I know this because I remember the transition, and when I was the guy, John Elway would always look for me. But there came a time where Rod was ready to go. Now, I could have went somewhere. Now, I didn't want to leave, Skip, so I was gladly, but we were winning. How do I go complain, Skip? We win the Super Bowl. Mike, you need to give me 20, 30 more passes a season.
That's
I need some more
selfish.
touchdowns. I'm winning. We're going 12-4. We 13-3 winning the Super Bowl. How you complain with that?
You can't.
Okay, but so many more people are on the field in football than
I
basketball.
want to be the number one
You only
receiver.
need 5,
Rod
and really
couldn't
you
my
only need
stash.
2 or 3.
Rod
He's going to be great
stash.
wherever he goes. He's going to be great, but he's not going to win. He's mortgaging his greatness and him scoring and winning for all those things,
I
for
Well, he
scoring.
has the championships, and maybe his priorities have changed now, and his
Well, I mean,
desire
once
is
you
to
get-
try and win one without LeBron James.
I'm greedy.
True.
Getting all the credit for
Yeah,
it.
once you get one, though, I mean, the quest is to get another one,
I
another one,
promise
another
you,
one.
This guy will make you eat those words ultimately.
So he's
You'll-
gonna
you'll
win a
sit back-
championship
yeah,
by
he'll-
himself?
He'll go win a championship somewhere
Where?
else. I don't know, maybe with the Knicks.
He's going to.
Miami.
Miami.
No mercy. Expectations are growing for the Lakers, who have gone a franchise-worst 4 straight seasons without making the playoffs. Their new star Lonzo Ball won the Summer League MVP earlier this month. Charles Barkley was asked about the Lakers by TMZ Sports. Let's take a listen.
Are the Lakers a playoff team?
No.
No?
Hell no.
Not even with Lonzo?
No.
We're joined once again by Eddie House. Eddie, do you agree with Barkley?
Yeah, I agree with Barkley. They got to win so many more games. The West is stacked. It's going to be the same guys in the playoffs that it was last year, maybe minus Utah and add Minnesota. That 8th spot is going to be fought. Portland's going to be down there. Memphis is going to be down there. Denver and the Pelicans, I think. And that's it. I think what Lonzo will do and the Lakers will do is bring some excitement back to Staples Center. It's going to be the infancy stage of Showtime because I really believe in Lonzo Ball and his ability to lead a team, to be the leader on the court, off the court, and passing is contagious. And once you get guys running the floor, it's going to be a track meet. Guys going to just be wanting to get out on the floor because they know that he will find them. And that's going to bring free agents. People are going to want to play with this guy because he's unselfish. So it's the beginning stage of something special in Los Angeles, but next year is not the year that they break through.
Yeah, and they need to do something because, me and my guy might be interested in
Oh,
coming
maybe?
there. We might be, but as of
Are you
right.
talking to sources close?
Yeah. Skip, Charles and I don't agree on a whole lot, but I 1,000% agree with him on this. They're not making the playoffs. They won 26 games last year. It's going to take somewhere between 42 and 45 games just to be in the 8th seed. And the teams are going to get better. The Wolves are much improved.
You love the Wolves.
The Wolves are much improved. The Denver Nuggets, they're going to make the playoffs. The Thunder are much improved. The Pelicans, this is not a 26-game trial run between Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis. And plus, Drew Holiday, remember, he missed a lot of the season attending to his wife with the brain surgery.
Rondo there.
Rondo, the Blazers are going to be there. Skip, they're not making the playoffs. And I'm going to enjoy that dew. I'm going to bring that big old 2-liter dew that you about to buy me because they're not making the playoffs and drink it right up here on set.
Yeah.
Thanks, Skip.
I'm going to say it again. The Los Angeles Lakers will make the playoffs as the 8th seed next year because this kid is transcendent to the point of being transcendental. He is special. He is game-changing. He's life-changing for Laker Nation. He is going to make differences that you can't even imagine yet that he will make in the whole culture of the Lakers. And I'm not saying he's an out-front vocal leader, but just his style of play, his passing gift is once a generation, and it will immediately translate. You know it because I know it. And we saw it in Summer League, small sample size, only the Summer League, but he was the MVP. But the main thing you saw in Summer League was you saw his teammates just contagiously gravitate to all things Lonzo. Because like you said, you start really running the floor hard because you're going to get the basketball in ways you can't even dream you could get the basketball. And all of a sudden, Lonzo Ball will make all the Lakers, all the way down 10 deep, better than your mind is letting you think they are right now.
His passes don't make them hit shots, though. He can make the right pass. It's on the money, but who does he have around him to put them over the top? I don't think that he has the roster yet.
Brandon Ingram's going to turn into a star.
Yes.
Julius Randle can be a beast down low, especially if he gets the ball in his wheelhouse.
Yes.
And I think Brook Lopez is really good, and he'll be really good for them.
20 and 8, 20 and 7 guy.
And KCP can defend, so he can defend a point guard, which Lonzo's not great at doing yet. Feet don't move quite well enough yet, but Lonzo can roam and steal. He led the Summer League in steals, and he's going to be a high steal leader next year. So he will make their defense better in unconventional ways. And then that bench, Jordan Clarkson can come in and he'll be lighting it up for them. And Larry Nance can play. He's athletic. And Kyle Kuzma showed me a lot in Summer League. You don't think he's going to come in and
No, I think he can play. I watched him play at Utah.
Okay.
He got some dog in him.
Yeah, and he can shoot threes and he can run. So all of a sudden, I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, Deng's still there, Corey Brewer's still there. They'll contribute a little bit. Contagious enthusiasm. Lonzo games, Laker games, are going to become events now. Not just at Staples, but trust me, when Lonzo goes to Sacramento, it'll be an event. When he comes to Phoenix, it'll be an event. Against the Clippers, Staples, that becomes an event where Laker Nation takes the game over from Clipper fans. Just watch what's about to happen.
How many games do you have the Lakers winning?
I don't
About 10 more games.
I don't even care. See, you're doing conventional wisdom. You're trying to do math on it. I just know that he'll make them way better than you think they are right now. And I don't know what it'll take, but they'll wind up in the 8th.
They won 26 games
10
last
games
year.
better is a lot better. 10
Yeah.
games. I think he could improve them 10 games. Him and Brook Lopez, 5 apiece.
And
5
see,
apiece.
Charles Barkley's hating on LeVar, which
Man,
I get.
ain't nobody
Yeah,
hating
he
on
is.
LeVar.
Yeah, they are.
I don't
Like
have no
everybody.
hate. I'm just whatever Charles got going on. That's him. I don't see them making the play. 10 games better. I don't see them getting 15 to 18 games better. And that's what it's going to take to get
That's
into
what I said. I said they win somewhere. I got them between. I said they win like 35 to 39, 40.
And he's good for 5, and Brook Lopez is good for 5, or he's good for 8, and Brook Lopez good for 2. However you want to break the numbers down.
See, you're conventional. You're thinking small.
I'm not thinking small. I'm not
But-
thinking small. They're not going to be 20 games better.
So let me
next
get. I want to make sure. So we agree on this: the Warriors, the Spurs, the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Timberwolves.
I don't agree on the Timberwolves. I've told you from the start. I
The
need
Wolves
to see
aren't
more.
better than the Lakers?
I got to see it to believe it.
If you don't
what
knock it
were they
off-
last year? Help me out. What
For
were
real,
the
if you don't
Timberwolves
knock
last
it off,
year?
they got.
What were they?
They were better than the Lakers.
Yeah, look, they didn't have
Hold on,
Jimmy Butler.
you-
They didn't have Jeff Teague. You talking about Ricky Rubio? Never wants to shoot, though he could pass. He could really pass.
Where'd they finish last year? You got it?
They
Just above, just
31 and
5
51.
games.
31 and 51, and all of a sudden they're going to be a dominant Western Conference
They're
team?
good
Jimmy
for
Butler?
they're good for 19 more wins this year. For
Hold
sure.
on. Oh, let me ask you this, Skip. Hold on.
Jimmy
You
Butler,
said
Jeff
you want to
Teague,
see Minnesota.
Taj Gibson.
But
Come on.
you said you want to see Minnesota, but you good on the Lakers and you ain't seen them.
What do you mean?
You said you need
I've
to see
seen
it.
Lonzo. He's going to change.
Oh, you ain't seen Jimmy Butler?
Lonzo was
I
great.
love Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy Butler. Let's see what happens. Let's just see.
Can we get a little something?
I already
Oh,
bet a
here we
case
go.
of due on it. What do you want?
I won't go deep.
I'll take that.
Am I not? You don't get it. You don't.
I'll take that. I'll send you a case of due if the Lakers get the 8th spot.
Okay, but I don't
And
have
if
to give it back, right?
No, you got to give me some. Give me a case of water or something, man.
Okay, all right.
Smart
I got
water,
it.
a case of
I'm
smart
doing
water.
I'm doing the prohibitive underdog here, right?
You're not going to even be the 10th seed.
Okay. Don't I get odds on this? Like I get 10 cases of due to 1?
It's odd that you betting and you want to. That's what's odd. You want to bet.
Here
You
I
normally
go
don't
again.
bet unless it's a sure
Yep.
thing. The Cowboy.
I told you Lonzo was the one transcendent player in this draft. And what happened in the summer league?
They're not going to finish.
I've been on Lonzo. He could have came out of high school. I wouldn't seen him play the semifinal state championship game. I said, that boy is ready to come out now. If they didn't have that rule, he would have been a top 3 pick in last year's draft. Would have been the rookie of the year last year, for sure.
So have some faith.
I got faith in what he can do, but the rest of he can't do it by, we just got done talking about a guy can't do it by himself, right?
Right.
Then we just had
Okay.
this conversation.
And we thought we was at the barbershop.
And we
said,
talking
"Shoot."
about Kyrie.
They're going to make the
They're
They're not making no playoffs,
You
Skip.
They're
heard
gonna
it
be
here
right.
first.
They're gonna be better the year after. They're gonna make the playoffs when they get some.
You
free
know what,
agents
Skip?
over
If they make the playoffs, I get you and Ernestine courtside seats.
I don't need courtside.
I want you to sit courtside.
I got a front row seat in my living room.
Well, I'm coming
Best
over
seat
to
in
watch.
the house,
Why,
right?
I just want to know why you don't invite me to watch games with you. Why is that?
Because
Because first of all, you watch all the games on silence.
yeah, that's true.
That's boring.
And plus, I can only put up with you for 2.5 hours a day. Am I right? Yeah.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time on Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports. One of one.